A very good afternoon to you tuned into UBC TV from wherever you are enjoying this Sunday. It must be at home, being that we are still under the 42 partial lockdown that was instituted by His Excellency the President and advised by scientists to curb the spread of COVID-19. And let me hope you are taking those SOPs seriously wherever you are. My name is Michael Jordan Lukomwa, coming in with our UBC weekly news roundup, where we give you the stories that made headlines throughout the week. In our first one, Uganda's Olympics-bound athletes were this week flagged off to the games that start on the 23rd of July in Tokyo, Japan. The occasion was at Kololo Ceremonial Grounds, and the occasion was graced by His Excellency President Yoweri Museveni and First Lady, also Minister for Education and Sports, Mama Janet Museveni. Our reporters were in Kololo, and here they brought a story.
After a whole year's wait following postponement of the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, Uganda's team has been flagged off. President Yoweri Museveni performed the duty at Kololo Ceremonial Grounds in Kampala. The president cited 8 key points that sport plays not only for the individual but also a nation. These are talent identification, fitness, discipline, perseverance, noble spirit, entertainment, friendship, and promotion of the country.
You have talent, you have got good nourishment, and training. Number 3, discipline. You must be disciplined, because if you go into alcohol, into womanization, into manization, you go looking for men if you are girls. Even if you have the other 2, you may end up failing.
The president advised Uganda's team to guard against COVID-19 while promising to address the budgetary allocation to the sports subsector.
You are now in strict quarantine. Don't mix with anybody. Or one knows something about fighting, but doesn't know all the fighting. Because he was saying that if the bullets are finished, you surrender. No. That's why you are given a bayonet on the rifle. If the bullets are finished, you fight with the bayonet. So while I'm trying to look for the bullets, please use the bayonet also.
Minister for Education and Sports Janet Museveni praised God for seeing us at this stage amidst the pandemic and advised against complacency while quoting from the Bible to offer parental guidance.
As we sit here, we know that you have had to qualify to be present here today. Therefore, our 33 athletes, 25 to the Olympic Games and 8 to the Paralympic Games, you have already demonstrated that you do have exceptional talent and skill. However, I want to challenge you to not become contented with the level of success you have so far attained by simply qualifying for these Olympics.
Uganda will at the Summer Olympics starting 23rd July be represented by 25 athletes, notable of whom are Joshua Cheptegei, Stephen Kiprotich, Winyina Nyondo, Halima Nakai, and Priska Chesang. This team will look to improve Uganda's overall medal collection that stands at 7, with 2 gold medals, 3 silver, and 2 bronze medals.
I challenge our athletes and the technical staff who will be accompanying them to aspire for the bigger prize, the Olympic medals. In the Bible, in Apostle Paul's first letter to the Corinthians, chapter 9, verse 24, he says, in quotes, Don't you realize that in a race everyone runs, but only one person gets a prize? So run to win, unquote. Do not be contented with merely competing in the Olympics. Aspire to win that Olympic medal. As a mother and a grandmother to our young people carrying our national flag to the Olympic Games, I urge you that you not only be sports ambassadors to our country, but also be of good conduct.
The Paralympics team that start their competition on 24th August is of 8 members from 5 disciplines.
Will be the 32nd Olympic Games and the 16th for the Paralympic Games, and has been organized under the theme United by Emotion, which reflects the uniting power of sports worldwide. Your Excellency, we are proud to inform you that in this edition of the Games, Uganda will feature the biggest contingent of qualified athletes.
These include David Emong, Piso Roma, Mohamed Nego, Andrew Mungoma, Husna Kukundakwe, and the 3 badminton players Elizabeth Mwesigwa, Hassan Mubiru, and Rita Asimwe. John Barnes, Sentamo, reporting.
Yes, we wish the team all the best. President Yoweri Museveni, in other news this week, assured the country that government is determined to root out the new emerging threat of domestic terrorism. Museveni said security forces are to be equipped with technology to deal with all threats within and outside Uganda.
President Museveni has assured nationals that government will deal with the recent domestic terror threats as it has done in the past. Museveni says the security forces are to be beefed up to use all available modern means of fighting terror.
Introduce technological means of detecting and following up criminals. Of course, as usual, the skeptics were just laughing. Museveni is just talking, just threatening, he will do nothing. These technologies, especially the cameras, and the other technologies they have not yet deployed. I announced them in my speech of 2018, but they took time. They have not fully implemented them.
Drawing from the recent investigations into the failed assassination attempt on General Katumba Wamala, which left his daughter Nantong and driver Haruna dead, Museveni highlighted that the forces will use the same tactics to root out the emerging urban terror cells.
But I also made it clear to the security people that I will never allow roadblocks in Uganda under my leadership. Police roadblocks that they are controlling security. Roadblocks are just blind. You are inconveniencing people who have nothing to do with the crime. You stop them. Then I said I would never have roadblocks here. I said these people are like jiggers. And when I was in the primary school at Chamate, a few times the jiggers entered my feet. And I know something about jiggers. When the jigger used to go in your foot, you would feel the whole body, the whole foot itching. Now, if you are not wise, you cut off the whole foot. Because the jig has entered your foot, then you will be making a mistake.
Museveni adds that when dealing with terrorists, the security will use all the ultimate powers stipulated in their rules of engagement.
And terrorists, please, I warn you, don't run. If we come, surrender. If you try to run, you are dead. You have been looking for trouble, now you are going to get it. You have been killing, you are now going to die. Your only way is to surrender. Even this looking for you, because in the looking we may get you and you don't get out. But if you surrender for us, we never kill people. You surrender, tell us, you shall go to jail. But thinking that you can kill our people and continue and you survive, you are deceiving yourself. You will die.
President Museveni also tasked the forces to devise means of netting propagandists who post groundless news on social media to further agendas.
Another problem we need to solve, I don't think it is a security problem, but it is an idiotic problem. The social media. The social media apparently has been saying that Museveni is dead. Now the other day when I went to site of bomb or to lay foundation, people were looking really very, because they thought they have been told by social media that Museveni is dead or something like that. So the security service needs also to solve that problem. I need to check with them to locate quickly the one who tells such a story, because you waste people's time. They should go for you. They should go for you, should locate you where you are, and we'll go for you.
On the insecurity in Karamoja, Museveni tasked the Uganda People's Defense Forces to act. He also revealed that discussions are ongoing with neighboring countries to beef up security in the region. Samuel Senono, UBC News in Kampala.
President Yoweri Museveni this week still pledged government support towards local scientific innovators of COVID-19 vaccines. He was addressing the second batch of newly sworn-in ministers at Kolo ceremonial grounds, where he expressed hope in the victory against the pandemic in the nearest future.
Braving the rain on the afternoon of Thursday was President Yoweri Museveni as he arrived at Kololo ceremonial grounds. He was here to officiate at the swearing-in ceremony of more new ministers. These had missed out on the first swearing.
I, Hilary Obaloke Onek,
swear in the name of the Almighty God
that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Republic of Uganda.
As they took oath, top among the concerns by the head of state was the existing challenge of coronavirus.
After 14 days, it either kills you or you defeat it. So with discipline, we could have avoided completely the second wave. But because of the indiscipline, we have had this second wave, which has now pushed the death, because before that we had only about 200 dead people from the beginning. But I think now we have reached almost 2,000.
Urging Ugandans to continuously follow standard operating procedures against the pandemic, Museveni expressed optimism in Uganda's capacity to beat the virus.
So I appeal to Ugandans really to listen, stop empaka arguments, and be advised. So we are really waking up. Unfortunately, we had educated a lot of the young people. They really can, if they are helped, there is nothing they cannot do.
With a pledge of supporting scientists in developing treatment for COVID-19, Museveni says government is to import more vaccines to fight the pandemic.
Some of our people are also working on the therapeutics. Some of our scientists have used some of the indigenous knowledge, which is abundant, to get some items which seem to be curing some of these people. But we shall confirm that and announce formally.
The swearing-in ceremony of these 13 ministers is part of the process to complete the composition of the executive arm of government.
Well, I think top on the agenda for me really is just to get this stereotype out that the Attorney General's office is not available. We are going to be more available. We are going to attend the cases that we have to attend. We are going to file our pleadings within the time allowed. So I think for me it's a question of doing what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it.
In Rwanda, there have also been several changes. The last few months, there have been changes in the army. There have been changes in government, and we would like to take advantage of those changes to see how we can have the process move forward. So we want to take advantage of the new leaders who have come in and see how we can work with them closely, resolve those issues that Rwanda has also raised with us, and see how we can respond to those issues so that we get out the sticky matters that has been blocking our relationship.
I know there are so many issues there, but I cannot do all of them at a go. So the first priority is the backlog. The second one is to organize them in the socio-economic transformation, in activities that can generate them money.
Some have pledged to start from where they stopped, having been retained in their previous positions, with one such minister being Engineer Hilary Onek.
We have now reduced the impact of disaster on our population tremendously by introducing technologies. Early warning systems, and also relocating some of the affected population to better location, better areas where such hazards are not possible.
What now remains is to put such vision into practice as Ugandans look forward to improved service delivery. Henry Okurut, UBC.
While responding to comments by Kenyan Deputy President William Ruto that Museveni owed the region a date of seeing the fruition of the East African Federation before he retires, President Yoweri Museveni this week still asked East African leaders to fast-track the East African Federation and create a center of gravity for Africa before he goes to look after his cows.
This was on Tuesday afternoon, and Kenya's Deputy President William Ruto was in Uganda. He joined Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni to lay a foundation stone for biological drugs and vaccine manufacturing facility at Matuga in Wakiso district. One of his appeals was for Uganda's president to speed up the integration process of East Africa.
We want to see the coming into fruition of the East African Federation. I think that is a debt you owe to us as East Africans.
It is an idea that some members of parliament from Uganda have welcomed.
A lot of things have been done. President Museveni has championed the cause in all perspectives, but there seems to be a lot of mistrust on the heads.
I think we need to come up with a policy that fast tracks those elements that build a political federation. Otherwise, it is a good wish, it is a step in the right direction, but we are still a distance.
Whereas they see it as a step in the right direction, they wish to see emergence of common political systems to make the federation a reality.
Let us first concretize on the economic federation. Let us do what we agreed in this economic package. Goods and labor must move freely. Today you cannot simply go and work in Rwanda, you cannot work in Kenya the way you want. If we fail to achieve that, then the political federation is still far.
I think, yeah, it's good to try. But the Deputy President of Kenya, he has been in that office. They shouldn't be appealing only to one person. How far have they moved towards that? So because for political federation to really be achieved, it's one of the most difficult things.
To achieve all this, it will require goodwill and working together for a common cause in the region. This is the reason why Kasilo County Member of Parliament Elijah Okupa wants East African vanguards of development to learn from other African regional blocs.
We have not achieved the issue of the common currency. So and I'm not seeing it in the near future, given that even this COVID-19 has messed up everything. So there is no way we are going to jump the issue of the common currency and go straight away to the political federation.
There are things in the treaty that are not even practical yet. For example, if you are studying in Kenya or Uganda, you must not pay as an international student if we are talking about integration issues. But these things are not yet at play. So we really need to make the treaty functional and also have these issues of mistrust addressed. But clearly, harmonization of the relationship between the borders must also be addressed if we are to discuss anything to do with federation.
These concerns by MPs are in line with President Yoweri Museveni's call to the recently sworn cabinet.
I, Rebecca Alitwala Kadaga.
The new ministers have since committed to driving the prescribed pillars forward, including regional integration of East Africa. Henry Okrut, UBC.
COVID-19 relief funds pledged by government to the worst hit by the partial lockdown were also commissioned and launched this very week we are ending today. At the event of the launch of the process in Kampala, Prime Minister Robin Nabanja urged the vulnerable to use the funds to purchase food for their families.
On behalf of government, as the Prime Minister of Uganda, allow me to declare the launch of the COVID Relief Fund.
Prime Minister Robin Nabanja flagged off the process that will see the worst hit Ugandans by COVID-19 partial lockdown receive 100,000 shillings. The mobile money giants in the country, Airtel and MTN, sampled the random sending of the money to the beneficiaries. Godfrey Oloya, a boda rider in Gulu City, confirmed having received the money after the Prime Minister made a call.
This man has not seen the message. And we told them to keep... He has answered. Yes, Oloya?
Yes.
This is the Prime Minister of Uganda.
Oh, you're welcome, Prime Minister.
Have you received the money?
I have received, madam.
Oh, congratulations. How much have you received?
Sorry?
How much have you received on your phone?
I have received a message that I have received 102,425 shillings, Uganda shillings.
The 2,425 shillings is for you, so that when you go to get the 100,000 will be the charge at the outlet. For you, you are supposed to get 100,000 intact.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
At the launch of the process in Kampala, the Premier urged the vulnerable to use the funds to purchase foodstuff.
Let me appeal to our people that this fund should be used for its intended purpose. We are trying to save life. Let us use it to buy food for our families.
The Prime Minister commended the President for the idea.
And that shows that our President cares for his people.
However, the biggest challenge, according to the Gender, Labour and Social Development Minister, remains the scanty data from the local authorities. Kampala remains sluggish in submitting data to the ministry.
Right Honourable, really we are here that you launch. The only thing I want to let you know is that we had anticipated that by 10, all of them would have concluded validation of the exercise, but as the Minister of State told Parliament, we did not contradict ourselves. The issue was we extended from 10th for people to validate, the town clerks to validate their data and upload into the system. As you have seen, we still have less than 50% of the data. If we close it on 10th, then the majority will be closed. So we have decided to extend it so that the rest of the people can validate their data.
The Minister for ICT defended the decisions of government, like the amount of 100,000 shillings per beneficiary and the choice of target groups.
This time around, when the lockdown was announced, the President was very clear that the government should assess the people who will be gravely affected by these measures, especially those who live and work in urban areas like Kampala, who survive on daily incomes. And I want to emphasize this because the debate in the countryside is why have you left us, we people in the villages and so forth.
The deadline for the submission of data by local authorities and sending of the money to the beneficiaries remains open. Philip Aguta, UBC News in Kampala.
Former ICT minister and also former presidential candidate Aggrey Awori was this week buried in a grave he built for himself 10 years ago. Awori succumbed to COVID-19 in a hospital in Nalia this week. He was laid to rest at his country home in Kibimba Village, Buwoni's Town Council in Bujiri District.
It is well, it is well. He has been
and that is Honorable Cecilia.
And the closeness that Aggrey has had with the clergy, it made me to know him through my father. And every time he came home, he would tell you about Aggrey Awori. And one of the most important things that you can do for a priest in those days was to help them have means of transport. And so he could come and buy tires, not for cars, but for bicycles. But what was too good for a priest, and we treasured him. He would come and buy shirts, clerical shirts for the ministers, and that was too good. And I looked forward to meeting Honorable Aggrey until at such a moment when I was able to meet him. Until at such a time when I was able to sit here and we had a very deep conversation.
He was a politician, but a very mature politician. He never talked ill about the government, even when he was in opposition. He came over to Kenya one time, and when people were saying things, he stood up and said, "Listen to me. Governments never break laws. There is no government that has broken a law." Everybody was surprised that Aggrey would say that. That is a saying that everybody in Kenya will remember Aggrey for, and Aggrey rest in the hands of the Lord.
Aggrey is an embodiment of Africa. He was a very keen Pan-Africanist. And really, I miss my brother because he was too mature for some of us to understand him. And I'm sure when he was talking about Pan-Africanism, people thought he did not appreciate his being a Ugandan. But he was seeing much bigger picture than many of us could see. So there is something that Uganda government must do so that we can remember this giant brother of mine. Where do people when they are still alive? How many people visited him when he was in hospital? How many? How many know they're his children? How many know the situation they are in right now?
There is no such thing as a tribe. He was a man of the East African community, and that is what I have experienced personally. The interventions from various people, the response they came up, it was a reflection of himself. And I am so thankful and grateful to every one of you, out there in the live stream and here in person. He battled to the end, and he was always of such good cheer. When we were moving in between the appointments, he was always talking about the younger generation of parliamentarians, of grandchildren, in between his naps. He'd wake up like he woke up from a dream, talking about the future. And he always wanted to see, he was talking about the future, like he knew, what am I continuing on to? So I want all of you to know that he was thinking about you in the future. Because that was the nature, the theme of his conversations as we were moving up and down in between appointments.
I had the privilege of meeting him in the 6th Parliament and worked with him all through until when he died recently, where he has been a member of the National Resistance Movement. He recently attempted contest to represent people, the elderly in parliament. He has been very active. But even when there was issues that concerned government, Aguraori was very ably presenting those issues either to the president or the people who should talk about them. So for us, we shall miss his ability, his knowledge, and his ingenuity.
And they take our brother, the rain in
May his soul rest in eternal peace. Frederick Wire is a man in Hoima who washes clothes for COVID-19 patients and health workers. Wire says he washes clothes, shoes among other items for patients with bare hands, and therefore appeals to government to at least provide him a washing machine.
Following the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic in the country, Hoima Regional Referral Hospital was reserved to guide the treatment of patients. Bwire and other workers were asked to wash for COVID-19 patients after 2 weeks of training.
At the great risk of handling the direct linens, the beddings and the scrubs of the staffs who comes direct from the treatment rooms, and you'll see that as human beings there's times that you can skip to do what is right as a human being, and you get yourself having touched the infectious things and you touch on yourself.
Bwire says government should provide washing and ironing machines to hospitals to prevent the risk of contracting COVID-19.
Where we have reached with the numbers, the workload is too high. I was thinking of if the hospital can think or be supported. Since we have a big number of staffs, we have this problem, and we have two commercial washing machines. We can handle the uniforms of staffs. That's the general hospital, because most staff take their linens back home, their clothes back home. We don't know how they handle them. Then secondly, these linens from the patients, it will be easier for us and more safer to use the machines than hand washing the manual. It is so hectic and it's so infectious. Secondly, if we have a tumble dryer due to the weather, we wash these scrubs of the staffs and it reaches the following day when they are still wet, because if the weather has not been good. And now there, if we have a tumble dryer, we do the drying on the spot. Then lastly, if we have those ironing machines, we can do the ironing of the staff's uniform on the spot here, like the steam ironing machines, industrial steam ironing machine, and a calendar that can iron the bed sheets.
He says whenever he's washing patients' clothes, he is scared of contracting the virus.
I think that's where our problem is, that we are so much exposed, especially when you're washing, that water can spill into your face. Though we are using the face shield at times, but it is still more risk during the washing.
Bwire adds that since the second wave of COVID-19, he has not been paid. He is supposed to earn 8,000 shillings daily.
Always been encouraging us and saying let's work and hope for the best. The truth is that we stop being paid, given this, because they say it's not, you don't demand it because it's an allowance. We are being paid when it is there. When it's not there, then you wait. So we stopped being given that allowance last year in December. Up to now, we haven't received any. So there are some people, most of us, we are still demanding. Yeah, and this wave, no one has received any allowance. And we are spending here from morning to evening. With this curfew now, we've made the 2 shifts, morning shift and evening shift. So you'll see that you are here, no meals. So that is the situation we are in.
He told the parliamentary committee that was sent to Western Region to see how government is doing in preventing COVID-19 spread. The executive director, Hoima Regional Referral Hospital, Peter Mukobi, told legislators that the hospital is facing some challenges.
Mbera kudwaliro in relation to protective equipment, kusinzira ku byetwambala okwetangira obulwadde. Embeera tebadde mbi wano ku treatment unit. Wabula otunulira eddwaliro lyonna waliwo ekibulamu mu units endala. Tuba engeri enkozesa gyeri nti yeeyongedde nnyo, twetaaga ebintu bingi mu wards zonna. Tuba tetusobola kuwa ekyetaagisa buli ssaawa, buli omu, buli musawo. Kale n'olaba nga oluusi tetuyita out of stock, bintu oluusi biba tebiriiwo.
Hoima Woman Member of Parliament Nyakato Asnasi and Hoima West County MP Dr. Joseph Lyonga said power outages at the hospital should be addressed, health workers given ample operating conditions and a good working environment.
Specifically Hoima Referral Hospital, if you talk about 50 medical workers who have been infected with the COVID-19, and this is 50 out of 300 medical workers, this is a very big number. And even the deaths of the 2 scare the other health workers. And you see they are attributing this to inadequate PPEs. So it is a serious matter that we need to take up very seriously, that PPEs are delivered in time, because once our fighters, the health workers, are scared, then we will have lost this battle. So we can't allow to lose this battle. We must go and fight, make sure that the PPEs are delivered in time so that we don't lose any other health worker.
But also the security personnel is complaining on the roadblocks, they are not getting any facilitation. Even the RDCs, the DPCs, they are all crying. And to make it worse, the frontline security officers on the roadblocks don't have equipment, protective gears, they don't have gloves, they don't give them masks, they don't give them suits, they just go bare open.
There's so many gaps. But we as members of parliament, after here, we're going to make a report and submit to parliament and see what can be done.
The committee members toured hospitals in Hoima and Fort Portal before heading to Wohweju, Mbara and beyond.
Wida needs serious assistance from wherever. His life is at risk, yet he's giving a very critical service in Hoima. The Parliamentary COVID-19 Task Force blasted the administration of Ginger Referral Hospital and the National Medical Stores over the high number of health workers that have contracted COVID-19 in Ginger Referral Hospital. The parliamentary team was this week meeting the medical leadership to assess the situation of Ginger Referral Hospital in the management of COVID-19 situation.
The Speaker of Parliament recently appointed a member committee to assess conditions of referral hospitals in the country. The committee was further divided into 4 groups, of which the Eastern comprised of 9 members, headed by Dr. Patrick Mutoni. Dr. Mutoni's team traversed the Eastern referral hospitals, commencing with the Ginger Hospital, and were received by the Deputy Hospital Director, Dr. Angela Namamala.
Their need for oxygen in the ICU is 60 cylinders a day, but they get about 20 up to 24. So there's still a lack of oxygen, and that's one of the issues that we are going to.
To the increased number of COVID-19 infections among medical workers, Soroti Western Division Member of Parliament Jonathan Ebwalu blamed the hospital for not requesting for the PPEs.
But when it comes to COVID, we are allowed to order when we need them. Now, even on emergency basis, we are allowed to order. but sometimes they delay to come.
The contraction of COVID-19 in Jinja Hospital, however, did not as well spare the in charge of the COVID-19 department. Earlier on, the team met with the Jinja task force at Jinja City Hall and requested government to consider boosting home-based management care.
But the person who is in charge, the COVID unit, has now got the virus and 5 others because we don't have the personal protective equipment. And this is to the contrary.
We draw a conclusion that the reason as to why the staff are contracting COVID is because of the scarcity of PPEs.
The Jinja Task Force wants the health centers 3 to start handling COVID-19 and also management of isolation centers.
Police fire brigade have put down a fire that gutted a business center adjacent to the Uganda Telecommunications stores in Wandegea, Kampala. The DPC Wandegea, Nuwamanya Alex, confirmed that the fire was caused by an electricity short circuit.
We got information that there was fire outbreak here. So when they came, we responded immediately. And after reaching here, the cause was electric shock. Because last night, there was no power, but we tried to respond immediately. So far, we are still establishing, we are still finding out. Okay. But at a later stage, we shall know what has got the problem.
National Drug Authority this week impounded about 300 COVID-X bottles within Kampala Metropolitan and arrested 3 people. This follows a 2-week operation by the National Drug Authority, during which 13 pharmacies were closed for operating illegally. The operation in different drug outlets in Kampala district was intended to protect the population from substandard, counterfeit, unauthorized drugs and unqualified persons, among others.
The strict enforcement and vigilance against COVID-19 counterfeits comes at a time when the country has just approved it as a support drug against COVID-19. This set high demand for COVID-19 and attracted unscrupulous businessmen to fake the drug.
3 suspects: Daniel Lule, I think a clinical medical officer at St. Peter's Clinic, Nansana; Wasa Samuel, a barber at Brotherhood Saloon in Wandegea; and Alan Kaitara, working with Softtrex Agrochemicals East African Limited in Container Village, were arrested because they were found in possession of counterfeit COVID-19 or fake COVID-19 at their homes. 3 are detained at Wandegea Police Station.
COVID-19 is currently in high demand locally and regionally, and its price, though set by the manufacturer at 12,000 shillings, is currently being sold between 30,000 to 70,000 shillings or beyond.
We have gone to hotspots so that we know have issues, and that's what guided most of our operation. While we, like you mentioned, have been lenient, we do not want to, to cross, most of the places around this time when there is a high drug need.
The National Drug Authority has been conducting an operation in different drug outlets around Kampala district to ensure compliance with the National Drug Authority Act 2006 and licensing guidelines.
Intended to protect the population from substandard, counterfeits, unauthorized drugs, unqualified persons, and other unauthorized healthcare products on the market. Pharmacies and drug shops that had unqualified personnel in there. We impounded 17 boxes of assorted drugs, estimated at over 8 million.
During the operations, 382 drug outlets were inspected, of which 169 were pharmacies, 152 drug shops, and 59 clinics. Of the pharmacies visited, 156 were licensed and 13 were issued with closure notices. Abdul Nasir, Lukomwa, UBC News.
Therefore, understanding this model. Excuse me, lady. Who do you think you are? A queen?
Haven't you heard? Get Airtel Chillax bundles and browse like a queen.
Get Airtel Chillax bundles that do not expire and browse like a queen or king. Dial *175# or use My Airtel app.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
As the financial year 2020-2021 draws to an end, URA has put measures in place to facilitate taxpayers to file their returns and pay taxes within the set deadline. All our offices across the country and the URA Contact Center shall remain open to provide extra support to our esteemed taxpayers. Additionally, we have extended our contact center service hours from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. Monday to Friday and from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturdays and public holidays. In light of the COVID-19 risks, we encourage taxpayers to reach us through our improved contact center and other online platforms instead of making physical visits to our offices. For online support, please reach us through our toll-free lines 0800 117 000 or 0800 217 000. Email services@ura.go.ug. Website ura.go.ug. Social media: Facebook, URA page, Twitter @URA Uganda. URA Customs Help Tool, help.ura.go.ug/login. URA appreciates all taxpayers who have duly fulfilled their obligations. Stay safe and let us all observe the standard operating procedures to prevent further spread of the COVID-19 virus. Stay safe as we develop Uganda together.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
Man, guess what happened yesterday? I entered the what? The taxi. But the pregnancy is from the what? The generator. Then my phone does toot-toot. And the toothbrush breaks in the what? In the porridge. Then I call who?
Wait, what?
First wait, I am still telling you. Then the jerrycan does what?
Love to talk? MTN My Paka Paka now has more minutes. Get My Paka Paka voice bundles to talk and talk at no extra charge. Dial *160*1# to activate My Paka Paka.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field couldn't be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite shows.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Airtel Uganda has the best and most affordable rates when it comes to withdrawing and sending money. Withdraw money for as low as 330 shillings up to a maximum of 12,500 shillings. Sending money is just as affordable as ever. Absolutely unbeatable. Use Airtel Money on the most affordable network with the largest network of Airtel Money branches in Uganda. Dial *185# to get started. Airtel Money. Simple, secure, borderless.
UBC Weekly News Roundup will come back from the break. Hot air balloon joyrides are yet to become popular in Uganda, though they were invented 3 centuries ago. As of now, hot air balloons in Uganda can now be found in Murchison Falls National Park and Queen Elizabeth National Park, where they have been flown by Dream Balloons, a registered and certified company, since 2011.
Balloon has gotten 2 compartments. The envelope, which we are inside, then the basket, which is connected to the envelope. The basket is a
passenger hot air balloons were first introduced in Uganda as a tourism joyride in 2011, though they have been in use in other places for over 3 centuries.
In order for it to operate, we have to connect the basket to the envelope. Then we inflate cold air inside the balloon. It's a process of between 15 to 20 minutes. So after
a hot air balloon is a single-layered fabric gas bag with an opening at the bottom with a suspended passenger basket, and in the center is a burner which injects a flame into the envelope, heating the air within, fueled by propane, a liquefied gas stored in cylinders that inflates the balloon.
These are gas cylinders that contains our gas that we are using. These are our pipes, as you see them, that transports our gas from the cylinder to the burner. And this is our burner.
It is initially inflated partially with cold air from a gasoline-powered fan before the propane burners are used for final inflation.
The smallest basket we are having is M160 5X GBH. So it has only 3 compartments. Though we have bigger balloons, which has up to 6 compartments or 8. You find passengers compartments, there are like 4 on one side, 4 the other side. And the burners also, this one has only 2 burners.
Hot air balloons are in use in Murchison Falls National Park and Queen Elizabeth National Park, among other places where they have been flown by Dream Balloons for joyrides since 2011.
And like those people who are traveling using vehicles, it is very difficult to see all those animals like leopards, lions and whatever. But for us, we are moving up. It is easy for you to see each and every animal in this park.
French brothers Joseph Michel and Jacques Etienne Montegrofo developed and demonstrated the hot air balloons in 1783, becoming the first successful human-carrying flight technology.
It is very safe. We have never registered any kind of accident before, so that automatically makes me say, deeply convinced it is safe.
2 months after this first 10-minute flight, an untethered but manned hot air balloon journey was pioneered by Jean-Francois Pilato de Rosel and Francois Laurent de Randes around 1800. Modern hot air balloons with an onboard heater developed by Eddie Yost during the 1950s, resulting in a first successful flight in the 1960s.
Sunrise hot air balloon. We make sure sunrise gets you up.
Vijapat Singhania set the world altitude record for the highest hot air balloon flight, reaching 21,027 meters above the ground in 2005. Jean-Pierre Blancard became the first person to ever fly a hot air balloon in various countries, including the United States, the Netherlands, and Germany. Unfortunately, he fell off his balloon above The Hague in the Netherlands and died around 1800. A decade later, his wife, who had taken over his initiative, also died in a fireworks festival that caused the hydrogen in the balloon to burn. A Pacific Flyer balloon completed the longest flight in a hot air balloon when Pearl Landstrand and Richard Branson flew from Japan to northern Canada, a journey of 7,672 kilometers in 1991. Steve
And that we come to the end of this week's news roundup. Thank you so much for being part of the bulletin. My name is Michael Jordan Lukomwa. With the whole team here, we wish you the best of the Sunday and the week ahead. Bye-bye.